welcome back. Did you do the exercise from last lesson? Did you fill out the workbook? I hope so, because it really does help to make the information stick. Well, I'm going to trust that you did. So in this lesson, we're going to compare two models of grief. The first one is the well-known 5 stages of grief. This was developed by Kübler-Ross in 1969. And the 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now, this is a model that is widely accepted and very commonly used to define the emotional roller coaster and the emotional landscape that somebody in grief typically goes through. Now, it's very important to note that this is not a linear ladder that you climb. While some people will follow it, going from denial, then anger, then bargaining, depression, then acceptance, it's even more common that you move back and forth in between these stages. Some people don't even cover all the stages. And even if we do, the stages will look differently for each person. This is a very useful tool for understanding the otherwise possibly confusing emotions that somebody in grief might display. And it normalizes the reactions. So when somebody loses a loved one and they are angry at everyone around them, by reflecting on this model, we can see that, okay, this is a normal reaction in order to deal with the grief. It's a tool that I believe is best used for self-reflection, because unless we display the emotions, which a lot of us don't really do, they're not necessarily apparent and visible to anyone else. And if you cannot see what stage somebody's at, you cannot see how to use this model. Now, from my own personal experience and from countless interactions with other people who have gone through a traumatic loss and are living with grief, I found that the 5 stages of grief was a tool that might be useful for self-reflection, but it's not necessarily very helpful when it comes to providing support. That's why I developed what I call the 3 phases of grief. And the 3 phases are despair, receptive, and resignation or enlightenment. The 3 phases are also phases that we can move back and forth into, not necessarily linear, but they're more generic in their structure, which makes them easier to relate to as an outsider that wants to provide support. Now, the key difference between the 5 stages and the 3 phases of grief is that the 5 stages, although very much used, are probably more effective for self-reflection, whereas the 3 phases are extremely useful for an outsider to be able to provide the correct support. Now, don't worry, we will go much deeper into the 3 phases of grief in Module 3 and explore exactly how you can use this as a tool. But it's very important to know and remember that any structure or tool that we use, although they can be extremely helpful and very illuminating, grief is deeply personal, and these are only guides. There is no one-size-fits-all. But together we will ensure that we get the best underlying tools that will give us the best groundwork in order to support whoever we need to support. Again, the action step for this lesson is to go into the workbook and fill out the assignments for today. And in the next lesson, we're going to explore what we call the second circle of grief. I look forward to seeing you there.